Hello everyone, welcome to Study Room. And since we know now what is cell and what are the varieties kind of cell, we know this fact that cell have different shape, structure, sizes. But how these shape varies, cell number varies with the organism to organisms, we'll look into it now in this video. So, how do scientists observe and study the living cells? They use microscopes. We all use microscope to magnify objects. So, stains, along with microscopes, they use stains. Stains are light. So, when you'll observe the any tissue, for example, you're observing any plant tissue or plant cell, you are not able to see. You'll see it as a translucent or transparent structure because it is transparent in nature, so we have to color it. So we use dyes, for example, methyl blue. There are several dyes we can see. Even glycerin is used to, these certain types of dyes are used to color code the plant structure, which we have to identify. There are millions of living organisms. They are of different shapes and sizes. Their organs varies in shape, sizes, and number. So color coding is one thing along with magnification. Can you guess the number of cells in a tall tree or in a huge animals like the elephant? Can you? No, we cannot. Not in humans, not in animals, not in birds, any type of, because they're multicellular organisms. We cannot observe any type of um, any definite number in these organisms because there are several plenty trillions of cells which make their body, so it's impossible to measure it. Did you know human body have trillions of cells which varies in shapes and sizes? Different groups of cells perform a variety of functions. We do now because we know humans are multicellular organisms. Their cells varies in shape, sizes. Certain cells perform certain types of functions which are not carried by certain type of cells. Different groups of cells perform different varieties of functions. So it's all because of varieties in cell structure. So what are multicellular organisms? Just like we cannot measure the cell number of humans, elephants, there are multicellular organisms. So multicellular organism made of more than one cell and are called multicellular organisms. The number of cells being less in smaller organism does not affect the functioning of the organisms. Multi means many. So just like the name suggests, you have to break it. Multi means many. Cellular means cell. So there are many varieties of cell, basically more than one cells. Number of cells being less in smaller organism doesn't affect the functioning of the organism. So it's not means if the organism is so small, the number of cells would also be small, and the number of cells is small means function of this organism would be small. No, every organism have certain cells, certain set of cells, certain sets of cells performs function. So every organisms vary in terms of their cell number, cell function, and cell size. How are multicellular organisms formed? We'll see how are multicellular organisms formed now. So organisms with billions of cells begins life as a single cell, which is fertilized cells. Even in humans, egg, when egg and sperm fertilizes, it make a single cell structure which is zygote. So everything has evolved from a single cell, which even us, we have evolved from a single cell. The fertilized egg, or we can say zygote. The fertilized egg cells contain multiples. The number of cells increases as the gestation periods proceeds. The zygotes converts into different varieties of cells: morula, blastula, morula blastocyst. These are 16 cells and 8 cell organism cell and blastocyst, and later the embryo. So these are all functions, and it shows us that even as multicellular organisms are evolved from a single cellular unicellular organisms. So unicellular, just like name mentioned, uni means one, cellular means cells. So the single celled organisms are called unicellular organisms. A single celled organism performs all necessary function that a multicellular organisms perform. The It doesn't mean that it has only a single cell, then the of functions would decline. No, it is also living, and it has certain functions that the single cell can only perform. Uni means one, cellular means cells. So here are some examples which are pasted for you. We have amoeba here, we have Euglena here, we have paramecium here, paramecium caudatum. So it's a species here, paramecium caudatum. So we have amoeba, we have Euglena, we have paramecium caudatum. Now we'll be talking about comparison between unicellular and multicellular organisms. Just like the name suggests, unicellular means it has single cell, multi means it has multiple of cells. A single-celled organisms like amoeba captures, digests food, respires, excretes, grows and reproduces. A single cell is performing all varieties of function. It is performing respiration, excretion, it is growing, it is reproducing. Whereas in multicellular organism, everything is sorted out. Like this number of cells will perform this function, this number of cells will perform this function. So certain cells perform excretion, certain perform reproduction, certain perform respiration. For example, you can see here in humans we have blood cells, we have brain cells, we have liver cells, we have intestinal cells. So every cell has a certain roles. Whereas in case of amoeba, you can see amoeba is a single cellular organism. So a single cell perform every function. Shape of amoeba. So you can see amoeba has no shape. Amoeba can be of any shape. It can acquire anything. So amoeba has no definite shape. Unlike other organisms, it keeps on changing its shapes. Projections of varying lengths protruding out of its body. Amoeba can be this. Amoeba can be this. Amoeba can be this. Amoeba can be of any shape. It has no definite shape. And this structure which is coming out of amoeba are called pseudopodia. Pseudo means false feet. So you can see it's a false feet kind of structure. For example, in humans we have feet. So amoeba also have feet which are called pseudopodia. These projections appear and disappear as amoeba moves or feeds. So these structure when amoeba has to eat a food. So this is, for example, amoeba. Amoeba has to digest this particular particle. So what amoeba does is it gains this particle with the help of this outgrowth. This outgrowth or protruding structure is called pseudopodia. Pseudopodia. So pseudopodia helps in moving, feeding. So here is the structure of amoeba. We have a nucleus here, food vacuole here. Food vacuole stores the food. Pseudopods here, cell membrane. Cell membrane is the wall which distinguish the nucleus, cytoplasm, which carries everything it in a compartment. So the main boundary is cell membrane. We have contractile vacuoles, we have ectoplasm, we have endoplasm. So cytoplasm is the substance which is present between nucleus and the cell membrane. So these every sky blue structure, light sky blue structure which you can see in this picture is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm can be also ectoplasm, endoplasm, varies if it is present inside or if it is present outside. What advantage does amoeba derive by changing shape? So just like we mentioned, amoeba can be of any shape. So the change in shape is due to formation of pseudopodia. Pseudopodia helps in the movement and in capturing food, just like I mentioned. So you can see this amoeba is trying to eat this food or feed on this food by emerging out its pseudopodias, and it will engulf this food particle into its body. So this is the beneficial of this. Did you know even a white blood cell WBC in human blood is another example of single cell which can change its shape? But while a WBC is a cell, amoeba is a full-fledged. So the difference between WBC and amoeba is they both are single cell. But this is a cell. This is a single-celled organism. It's an organism which has a single cell. This is only a cell, and it is present in organism humans or it's in humans. So this is cell, this is organism, this amoeba is a single-celled organism. So this is the difference between WBC and amoeba. Now we'll be talking about shape of cell. So generally cells are round, spherical, elongated. Some are long, pointed. They exhibit a spindle shape. Spindle means S shape or this kind of shape. Cells sometimes are long, they are short. For example, nerve cell is the longest. They have different shapes to perform certain functions. For example, if you remember the sperm cell, sperm has a tail, for a flagella like structure, which is tail, which was helping it in movement. So every organisms have different cells, and cells are categorized according to specific functions. You can see RBCs. RBC has donut in shape, concave shape. Columnar epithelium, it's a rectangular shape. Ovum is a circular. Bone muscle has a dendrite, it's a irregular. Nerve cell is the longest. It has these dendrites, even a axon tail. The sperm cell has a flagella-like structure. So everything varies. Now we'll talking about nerve cells. What are nerve cells? Nerve cells are present in us. So cell is responsible for receiving and transferring of message. I hope you know that our brain sends signals, and brain sends signals through nerves. So nerve cell receives and transfer messages, thereby helping to control and coordinate the working of different parts of the body. And the nerve cell has everything. It has cell body, it has nucleus, it has dendrite, it has node of Renwier. You have to learn these names. Schwann cells are the nourishment providing cells. Then we have mitochondria, which provides energy. We have synapses, the nerve endings. So this is the particular structure of nerve cell, and you have to learn these names. And nerve cell is the longest cell. Which part of the cell gives it shape? So if you'll see, we have talked about the boundary of the cell. So everything has certain boundary. If you're talking about square, it has a boundary. Everything ends at a point. So components of the cell are enclosed in a membrane. This membrane provides shape to the cell, to the plants, to the animals, every type of organisms. Cell wall is an additional covering over the cell. So plant cell, so every organism has a membrane. We call it cell membrane. But along with cell membrane, plants have cell wall. So plants basically have two outer boundaries. So it gives them shapes, rigidity. Even bacteria cell have a cell wall. So plant and bacteria have a cell wall along with cell membrane. So what gives cell the shape? Cell membrane and cell wall. Sizes of cells. The size of cells in living organism may be small, millionth of a meter, micrometer, or microns, very very tiny. So we discussed about the egg of the hen. It was large and it can be seen through our unaided eye. But if we talk about bacteria, if we talk about amoeba cell, if we talk, take a pinch out of it, we'll be able to see it only under the microscope because they're very very small. However, most of the cells are microscopic in nature and are not visible to the unaided eye, but there are some extensions which can be seen through our naked eye, which is hen's egg for example. So sizes of cells varies. Fun fact, the smallest cell is 0.1 to 0.5 micrometer in bacteria, whereas the largest is 170 meter to 130 meter, and it is the egg of an ostrich. So you can see this is the bacterial cell here, and it is the microscopic image, but here it is the ostrich egg, which can be seen through our eyes. So here is an activity: boil a hen's egg, remove the shell. So you have to take an egg, you have to boil it, you have to remove the shell. The white material surrounds the yellow part, the yolk part. White material is albumin, which solidifies on boiling. Yellow part is yolk. It is part of the single cell. You can observe the single cell without any magnifying device. So you can see this is a egg. This part is albumin and this part is yolk. So you have to boil it. This yellow part will solidify, and this part, when you will be crushing this, you can remove the white covering of it, and you can take out the yellow part, yolk sac part. You'll see that yolk sac is a single cell, just like the egg hen. We are talking about eggs the hen, that it is a single celled organism. So what is single cell in it? Yolk sac. So you can see the yolk sac by removing the outer albumin covering. Are the cells in an elephant larger than the cells in a rat? So think about it. Elephant is a bigger organism, a larger organism. Rat is a small organism. So what you'll see, you have to think about it. So does a organism's body have a relationship with the size of the cell? No, the size of the cell has no relationship with the size of the body of any organisms, any plant or animal. It is not necessary that the cells in the elephant must be bigger because it is a bigger organism. No, the size of cells or size of body has no relations. For example, nerve cells both in elephant and rat are long because nerve cells are the longest cells. So both in elephants and in rat, the nerve cell would be of same size. They would perform the same function of receiving and transferring message. So the size of the body of an organism has nothing to do with the size of the cell. So here we come to an end of our video. I hope now you know different varieties of cell. Nerve cell is the largest, different shapes of cells. You can perform activity with the eggs hen and hen's egg, sorry, and you can observe it under, you can remove the albumin part and you can see the yellow yolk sac part, which is the single cellular. We have single cellular, we have unicellular, we have multicellular, and the size of the organism does not have a relationship with the size of the cell. So this is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and make notes, and notes are very important. So thank you. I'll see you in the next video.